the intro once again, so if you haven't seen episode 5 of Netflix's Shadow and Bone season 2, go away, or you're about to get spoiled. We open on the Darkling being a little bitch. He's mad that Genya and Baghra escaped, which is inaccurate on so many levels. And he's obsessed with fighting Alina instead of actually fighting this war, which is only somewhat wrong. Meanwhile, the Second Army is struggling hard, and Alina is tripping out because she can't find Mal. And while this is a very Alina reaction, it shouldn't have happened. Alina never lost Mal in the books. Then we finally start to get some new prequel Crows content with Zoya and Tolia. Now, don't get me wrong, it was so fun to see all these characters interact together, but it was also unnecessary. The Crows could have done this heist completely on their own and nothing would have changed. Zoya and Nina get into it, which is something we shouldn't have seen until like season 4, and Inez's menagerie tattoo is removed, which I gotta admit lies in a gray area of accuracy, because Inez is supposed to get her tattoo removed as soon as she's free of the menagerie, but Pekka never ran the menagerie in the books, so... We get a quick glimpse of Nadia and Tamar, and this is something I felt like they really had the chance to improve upon from the book. Their relationship didn't get any time or development on the page, and the show could have changed that. But instead, the writers and producers chose to leave it as is, which was extremely disappointing in my opinion. Suddenly, darkness is invading the tunnels. It's Baghra and Genya, and everyone is happy reuniting with Genya until Nikolai recognizes her. And he says she needs to face Trav for poisoning the king and working with the Darkling. And you can tell we're gearing up for Jenny's most iconic moment when we cut to the Crows. They're making a plan to get this mystical shadow-cutting sword from its owner in Shuhan when Inez shows up. Jesper had told her they were going on a mission for Alina, and Inez wasn't about to lose an opportunity to help her saint. Kaz is mad, but he lets it slide. This is where we also learn that Wylan can't read, and it's heartbreaking, but it's also adorable. But it also shouldn't be happening yet. But I'm glad it is, because given the context of the show, it makes sense. Oh, I'm so conflicted. Back to Genya. The queen sees her and demands the guards take her, but we finally get the moment. Genya tells the queen that she poisoned her skin, and if the king had stopped coming to her, he would have lived. Nikolai steps in, of course, scolding his mother and apologizing to Genya, and all of this is fairly accurate, except, you know, the king isn't there. And the most frustrating part of it all is that we didn't even get to hear the best line. I am not ruined, I am ruination was nowhere to be found. Disappointing. But we do get David's speech to Genya about how he knows metals and she's made of unrelenting steel. And this was just as adorable as how I imagined it in the books, but the show had to go and make it even more adorable by saying Genya found them by amplifying her power and searching for familiar heartbeats, aka David's. God, I love them so much. Then we get a hilarious moment where Jesper is asking Tolia for love advice. And while I didn't love Tolia being a part of this mission with them, this scene was objectively very fun. And when Jesper is trying to flirt with Wylan, Wylan almost lets his past come to light. And this was another great nod for book fans. Plus, it will make for an amazing reveal if we get to see the Ice Court heist on the screen. Kaz and Nina have to pretend to be a couple to get information, and this was hilarious and perfectly accurate to their characters. But when they don't get any information out of their contact and they go to chase after her, Kaz tries to move through a crowded street and has a panic attack. And I loved how attuned the writers and actors were to Kaz's condition. Finally, Mal shows back up, right as Alina is contacting the Darkling through their link. And I have mixed feelings about this, because on the one hand, Alina did contact the Darkling multiple times through their link, but on the other hand, it never made her powers go on the fritz, threatening everything and everyone around them. Alina also spends the whole time in that vision trying to sever the link between her and the Darkling. And again, this never happened in the books. They never tried to sever that connection. Mal pulls her out before anything can happen though, and then they have a fight. Unfortunately, the fight is pretty book accurate, but this is the one thing I could have done without accuracy on. Next, the Crows reconvene. Turns out the lady they had tea with is actually the blade's owner. So they make a new plan to sneak into her house and steal it. But Zoya says she doesn't want to steal anything, so Kaz assigns her to look out with Nina. Zoya and Nina have a heart-to-heart about Matthias, and again, they shouldn't be having these types of conversations yet, but here we are. Back in Ketterdam, Pekka is in Hellgate, which is definitely new, but I don't hate it, especially because it gives Matthias reason to interact with and form a hatred of Pekka Rollins, which will help him bond with the crows when the time comes. Meanwhile, Alina is talking to Baghra about her connection with the Darkling. Alina says she can feel him every time she tries to use her powers, and I hated this description, because while Alina was connected to the Darkling in the books, it wasn't like that. Then Baghra agrees to help Alina find the Firebird. Excuse me? Baghra would have never. Baghra was always pro Alina running away. She never would have encouraged, let alone helped Alina find the Firebird. I don't know what book they're reading, but it's not the same as mine, I can tell you that. Cut to the Darkling, he says this.
The whole world will hear it when I make her scream.
And honestly, I'm surprised I haven't seen this line taken out of context in more fan edits. Like, seriously, you guys could be using this for so many things. And we end with the crows. Wyland calls Jesper out for being Grisha. Jesper freaks out on him, leaving their relationship in a rocky spot. Nina and Zoya lose the sword lady, meaning she's coming for the crows, and Tolia steps on a trap that locks them in a room that emits gas, making them all pass out. End of episode. But what did you all think of this episode? Did you like the new crows plotline? How do you feel about the connection between Alina and the Darkling? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hit all those other buttons too while you're at it, so you can stay up to date when I post my review of episode 6 coming soon. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!